Hey, how's it going, everybody? Hope you're staying dry wherever you are because it has been absolutely downpouring here all day. Um, yeah, driving around today for work, driving past all the rivers, and it just, they're getting so high up on the banks, and pretty soon here, if we get the rain that they're saying we're going to get, they're going to be overflowing the banks from what I could tell because there's some low-lying areas where it's getting really, really close. And if it does what they say it's going to do, which they're saying it's going to rain, today's Tuesday. I'm supposed to go to a bike night tonight. The weather's going to dictate whether that happens or not because supposedly we're going to get a break from about 5 till 8. And then from 8 o'clock all the way until Friday at least, they're calling for more rain. So this video is kind of going to be all over the place because I got my new Avon memory foam grips installed. I did videotape that, so I'll add that footage into this video. And I also got my new Sawicki 2-in-1 installed. Now that I have to apologize to you guys. It got delivered Friday, I guess. UPS truck got here. I brought it in the house, and I made the mistake of opening the package, which I never should have done. Okay guys, so like I said, I'll give you a little sound clip of the bike running. I'm going to start it up, and then I'm just going to do a quick ride by for you so you can hear what it sounds like. And then I'm going to go take this thing for a ride. So But the reason why I started recording today is because the final piece that I've been waiting for to complete or finish getting my bike ready for Americade in 4 weeks now got delivered today. So without further ado, let's get all this packaging off and see what's in the box. Okay guys, so I got everything unpackaged here. Hopefully you can see, but here is my new sissy bar and luggage rack. So I think I might have mentioned it in a previous video. The very first video of this series was me messing around with my existing sissy bar, trying to put some anchors or tie down points on to tie my my bag down. And I mentioned it before, after I shot that video, I just really wasn't happy with with those anchor points and tie down points, doing it that way. Along with the fact that I really would like a luggage rack, and unfortunately, like this sissy bar, I don't have a way to add a luggage rack to it. I mean, Viking doesn't make a sissy bar that you could bolt onto that one, and there's another one that I've had my eye on that's similar to that style, but every time I go to look to buy it, it's out of stock. So I ended up going this route. This is a Cobra. It is detachable, so you got your docking hardware there. There's your quick release, similar to the way Harley's is, but this whole setup here, the luggage rack was separate obviously, but everything here, your backrest pad, your lower brackets there, docking hardware, it was all one piece, and it was actually quite a bit cheaper. I think if I did the math right, I think it was about $100 cheaper than if I'd gone through Harley and gotten their detachable sissy bar. So it's Sunday today, and behind the garage door there, it is absolutely pouring down buckets today. So I got these new Avon memory foam grips for the bike. I figured we'd go ahead and install those today. So we'll get started on the throttle side. That one should actually be the easier side to do. So then we'll switch over to the clutch side. So to get this assembly apart, you got a what is this, T25? Yeah, T25 Torx. You got one on the bottom and then one on top. This bottom one, I think, just drops right off, and then you'll be able to actually slide this grip right off. So we'll go ahead and do that. Okay guys, so basically I had to stop the video there while I fiddled with this to figure out how exactly this comes apart. Basically, I just loosened the screws. Let me see if I can get you a little closer. So I had to loosen these screws here for your brake lever. Didn't back them all the way out. I had to loosen them just enough so that, if you could even see that, there's a little groove in your brake perch here that this rides in, just enough so that that'll slide forward, and then you could drop your switch cluster enough to get this part to come out, your grip, your old grip, and this just slides right on. So once I figured out how to do it, relatively easy. go ahead and, actually what I'm going to do before I tighten that back up is I'm going to sit on the bike and get this lever in a position where it's comfortable. But before I do that, I think I'll go ahead and put this top of the switch housing back on. At least get those bolts snug. And then I'll play with repositioning this thing. At least get the bolts started anyway. I think right about there will do it. Snug that up. Yeah, feels pretty good. That's one side done. All right, let's go ahead and move on over to the clutch side. This side, I think, actually is going to be slightly more involved than the other side. At least that's what I've been told. We'll find out for sure, though. Basically, if you guys could see, you got, come on, you could do it. This larger part here will sit in the bottom, and then, you know, the smaller part obviously goes up top. So go ahead and back these screws out. Hopefully not do the same thing I did with the other one and drop the screw. Let's see. I got a funny feeling that the grip on this side, I could be wrong, but I got a funny feeling that it's going to be glued on. I hope not, but we'll see. We'll see how easily this thing. Alright guys, well the old grip is off. They must use some serious industrial grade adhesive to glue them on though, because I'll tell you, they were on there good. So like I said, let's go ahead and get this new one on and get this thing buttoned all back together. That appears as though Alright guys, well, let's get you down off the tripod here. So that's the clutch side, and that's the throttle side. Slip right back, nicey nice. I may have to adjust this side a little bit, play with it a little bit, but yeah, these should definitely be much comfortable, or much more comfortable, I should say, than stock. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Well, the roads are a little bit damp, but the rain did stop, at least momentarily. So, let's jump on the bike and head over to bike night. We're headed to a place in Brookfield called jjStacks. Never been to this one before. It's kind of nice because it's actually not far from where I live compared to some of the other ones I've been to. So we'll get headed over there and figure this would be a good opportunity to take you guys along so you can hear the new Sawicki exhaust from the rider perspective. So let's go ahead and get her started, let it warm up for a couple of minutes. You don't have to let it warm up for very long, but so new sissy bar is on, but you might notice the luggage rack is not on. More on that in a second, but yeah, there's the pipe. So okay, trying a different resolution with the GoPro today. Hopefully I'll get a little bit better footage. So yeah, let's get going. So as I mentioned, you probably noticed that the luggage rack that I was talking about putting on the bike is not there. Well, in my infinite wisdom, I ordered the correct sissy bar, but unfortunately, whenever I was ordering the luggage rack, I didn't pay close enough attention to the specific make and model that the luggage rack would fit, and I ended up ordering the wrong one. So I sent an email to Dennis Kirk, where I purchased everything from, and they're really cool about it. You know, they're going to let me return it and order the correct one, which luckily they have in stock.
really hope that the audio will pick up the sound of this exhaust. Hopefully it won't be all wind noise, but yeah, it does sound good. Like I said, it's not super loud, which I was really happy about, because one of the things that I was kind of concerned about whenever I was buying this exhaust was, you know, I want it to sound good and I don't want it to be quiet, but I don't want it to be so god-awful loud that on a long trip, you know, my ears are going to be ringing when I get to my destination. And it's, I would say it's definitely a happy medium. It's not too quiet, not too loud. I'd say it's probably maybe a hair quieter than maybe a hair quieter than the Reinhardt slip-ons that I had. But I know as these exhausts break in, they do get louder as they break in, and that's what happened with the Reinhardts. So I imagine this one will get a little bit louder, hopefully not too much, because like I said, right now it's perfect. But just in terms of performance, I mean, between the pipe and the tune, this thing rides like a totally different motorcycle, guys. I was shocked. Perfect, for example, when I took it out for a test ride the day I put the pipe on, I was going up a pretty decent incline, and ordinarily, if I'm doing like 35, I usually have to have the bike in third gear, because if I'm in fourth, especially going up a hill, but yeah, if I'm in fourth, it would bog down so much. And this time today, or the day I took it out for a test ride, I don't know, I wasn't really paying too much attention to what gear I was in, and I'm just cruising along, and I'm pulling this hill, and I happen to look down at my speedometer. I'm doing 35 miles an hour in fourth gear, and the bike wasn't even bogging at all. I mean, that's why I didn't really pay much attention, because the motor didn't sound like it was bogged down or lugging. And I'm like, let me roll back on the throttle a little bit and see what happens. And man, I rolled back on the throttle and it kept pulling it, just, not accelerating like a crazy amount, but it pulled right up the hill, no issues, no bogging down or anything. So that impressed me. But anyway, I think I've come to the conclusion, especially after putting this Sawicki 2-in-1 on, I think I'm going to leave it the way it is. For me, the way I ride, this bike's got plenty of power, more than enough for what I need. I mean, I'll put it to you this way, I don't know, here like 3 weeks ago now, I took my wife for her second ride on this bike. The first ride we just went short. We went 15 minutes away to go get lunch, which, not a very long ride, because that was only her third time on anything with a motor and two wheels, because years ago when we were a lot younger, we went on a day trip, or we stayed a weekend out in Newport, Rhode Island, and they didn't have any place to rent motorcycles, but they did have a place where you could rent the little 50cc scooters. So we rented one of those, and the two of us jumped on one of those. It was a Yamaha Zuma, I think is what it was. So other than that, she rode on my Triumph with me once. This Amazon truck thinks he's not going to make it, but you got plenty of room. You got plenty of room. Don't worry. You're in no danger. It's deceptive. I can't really. It is deceptive. You look like you're going to hit, but you're really not. But yeah, that was only her third time on, you know, anything with a motor and two wheels. And then the long ride that we did, I say long because it's long for her. It was like 106 mile round trip. So she was a trooper, man. I'm proud of her. She was sore, don't get me wrong, because, you know, I've got 1,000 miles on this Saddleman step up, but there's like no miles on the passenger seat, so the passenger seat's not even close to being broken in. So, you know, like I told her, I said, you know, ride it more. The more you ride it, the more comfortable it's gonna get, you know, yada yada yada, the whole spiel. But my point to all that was, even with the two of us on this bike, you could feel the extra weight, don't get me wrong, and I say that more in the way the bike handles, more so than the power aspect of it. But yeah, in terms of power, this thing had no trouble pulling both of us around, none whatsoever, and that was before I put the 2-into-1 on. So that was slip-ons and, you know, the factory tune. And even with all that, this thing had no trouble whatsoever. So, in terms of power, this thing's perfect the way it is. I did the pipe. That's really all I plan to do, other than maybe doing the air filter. I haven't quite made up my mind yet, but as soon as this car can make its left turn, I'm going to shut up for a little bit so that you can really hear, or hopefully you can hear, this Sawicki exhaust, what it sounds like from a rider's perspective. I gotta say, it sounds nice when you're decelerating. I don't know if you guys could hear that or not. I don't know. To me, it just sounds pretty cool. Now, I've never been to this place before. I hope I don't go driving past it because, let's see. It's kind of tucked away, like, you know, back behind In other words, it's not like right on the road where you could see it. It's kind of like a indiscriminate sign that's kind of small, and if you're not looking real hard, you'll ride right past it, which I'll keep going here for a little while, but I have a bad feeling I think I may have done just that, but we'll see. And unfortunately, whenever I was working on the bike the first time, or this afternoon rather, I completely forgot to adjust my shifter, so I mean it's manageable. I'm getting by, but I definitely have to remember to do that before a Americade. Oh, I see it. Here we go. Alright guys, well, that was fun. I'm glad I came out. It's a pretty good turnout considering the weather, and actually met a lot of really cool people here. Like I said, I'm glad I came out. So little backstory about this particular bike night. The organization that put this together is called Gears in Heaven, and last May, their son was on a motorcycle not far from here actually, and unfortunately was involved in an accident, and he sadly did not survive the crash. 22 years old, had his whole life ahead of him, and gone in just an instant. So his parents, who started up this organization, they basically, their whole life was changed that day from that day on. And so this was their bike night that I went to, and yesterday would have been the 1 year anniversary of the accident. And the sad thing is, it was actually Brandon, who was their son. It was actually his birthday, so he, last year went out for a ride on his motorcycle on his birthday, was going to meet up with all his friends, and he just, unfortunately, he never made it. So I always like when I can support people like Jen and Jeffrey. They're great people, they really are. I've met them multiple times at several different bike events, and it's nice to have an event like this that's so close. I mean, this is basically right in my backyard. Not far at all. Not that I mind going to the other bike nights, but I don't know. I guess I'm a little partial to this area compared to where some of the other bike nights I've been to are. It's just, to go out to where those events are, there's just so much traffic. It's bumper to bumper, and look at this, guys. Very few traffic lights. I'm cruising along here 55 miles an hour, Nobody bothers you up here. It just, I don't know, it's so much nicer riding up here. So, I don't know how much more battery life I have on this GoPro. I know it was getting low when I got to the bike night, so I'm probably going to cut it off here. So I appreciate y'all tuning in, and until next time, you guys take it easy and ride safe.